Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video. Today we are going to talk about this right here, and I'm not talking about the notebook, but I'm talking about the pen. Or actually, I'm talking about the company behind this right here. This is a Lamy Safari, and Lamy has just been acquired by a brand or a company named Mitsubishi Pencil and Mitsubishi Pencil Company. And you may not have heard about the brand, but you probably have heard about a Uniball pen. Most of us have seen Uniball pens almost everywhere, and it is quite a familiar brand to most of us, especially those of us who are into pens and spend a lot of our time on stationary stuff. You have probably heard of the Uniball pen. And this came all of a sudden, at least to me. I didn't know that they were selling, and I've seen that on different forums that many others are surprised as well. And there are some differences in opinions. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it, and I'm also going to talk about what I think this will mean and why did Lamy even sell the company that has been family owned ever since it was started a long time ago. I think it was back in the 1930s, and Mitsubishi Pencil Company is even older. They actually got established in 1887. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Daniel. I talk about everything stationery, note-taking apps, productivity, and mental health. So if that sounds interesting, please do subscribe. Anyways, we are going to talk about the Lamy brand, and what's happened is that they have been acquired, and in the short term that will have no consequences. The factory will still remain, or the headquarters will still remain in Germany, so there will be no changes, at least not in the short term. And it is like that every time a company is acquired by another one. If you want to make changes, it often takes a lot of time to implement all of those changes. So I wouldn't say that there will be happening, anything will be happening in the short term. In the longer term, there might be possibilities for some changes. And the reason for why Lamy has decided to sell the company, which, as I've said, has been family owned for many, many years, is to become more widely available. That's the first thing. So distribution is really important. As I said, the Uniball pens are almost everywhere. You can go to a grocery shop and you can buy yourself a Uniball pen. You can find them in different stationery stores. Even bookstores have Uniball pens, so they are widely available. That means that Mitsubishi Pencil Company is doing quite a good job with their distribution, and they probably have a lot of contacts in their supply chains, which can make a brand like Lamy more available. I do not think that the fountain pens like this Lamy Safari, maybe this Lamy Safari right here, but things like Lamy 2000 and the more expensive Lamy pens will probably not be available everywhere. But for the other kinds of pens they have, I believe that they can become more widely available for most people to purchase, which is a good thing for any company to sell more of its products. That's probably what all of the companies want to do. But that is the first thing. The second thing is that they want to prioritize digital writing. So Lamy already has a digital writing set, and so does Moleskine as well. I have tested out the Moleskine one. I haven't tested out the Lamy one, at least not yet, but they have a sort of a digital writing set, which is basically that you write on paper and it appears on your phone and or computer as well. So that is also something they want to prioritize, and something that is becoming more and more popular and more important for these brands to get into. It is still really early days, but with AI and optical character recognition, or OCR, it will become more and more important, because you can now search through your handwritten notes, something we can't actually do inside of our paper notebooks. I can go through this, but I can't actually search for a thing I have written down. With OCR, with digital writing, that will become a possibility in the future, and I think more and more people will get into things like digital writing. And the two reasons I'm mentioning here is actually mentioned by the CEO of Lamy, the current CEO of Lamy, which talked about the two reasons for why they wanted to sell. And they wanted to find someone who could keep the headquarters in Germany and keep the employees for as long as possible. That was the things mentioned in the article from the CEO of Lamy. However, in the long term, I'm thinking about whether or not Lamy pens will have the same quality as they have today. It is just something I'm thinking about. I do not have the answers, but with bigger companies, they tend to take some shortcuts in order to mass produce a lot of the pens or equipment. It isn't just pens. I am into fashion, and the same goes for fashion as well. In order to be able to sell as many as possible, you probably have to cut some corners. It will happen, maybe not with Lamy and Mitsubishi Pen Company again, or pencil company. I am not too familiar with them. I'm quite familiar with the Uniball brand, but I'm not familiar with the parent company, so I'm not sure about that. And the other thing is, will now Lamy become one of the Japanese brands? Mitsubishi Pencil Company is a Japanese company, and will it have the German construction, which Germany is so widely known for? On the other hand, Mitsubishi has done a lot of great things when it comes to innovation, which is something Lamy has done as well, which is good for the fact that they probably want to do something really cool with digital writing. So it is really hard to say what this means in the long run. As I said, in the short run, I don't think it means anything. It will continue as it has done. And there are some questions in the long run on the sourcing of materials, whether or not they will keep manufacturing the way they are doing right now. That's some questions that will come up in the future, probably 5 to 10 years from now. That's at least what I think, but please do comment your thoughts down below. I would love to hear them. So it is kind of exciting news. I'm hoping that they will do something cool with digital writing, which is something I would love to see and use. But apart from the things I've said, I'm just really excited to see how this partnership, how this acquiring will continue to develop, and where we will see the famous Lamy brand, which a lot of people do know, because a lot of people have this Lamy Safari right here, or one of the Lamy Safaris, as their first ever fountain pen. So a lot of stationery people who are into stationery nerds, are familiar with the Lamy brand. So this will be really exciting to see. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's video.